to San Pedro short stories. Teachers to the rescue.
It was a cold winter morning. It was raining and windy. As usual, I was walking with a friend on my way to school when suddenly a loud engine roared in the distance. We saw an F1 car in the street. It was amazing. Its aerodynamic front part was on another level compared to a normal car. Lewis Hamilton got out of the car and we took a picture with him. After that incredible moment, we continued our walk and arrived at school. My friend and I saw O'Neill at the door. We got scared because days before, we had made fun of him by knocking on his door. He had his new rifle and wanted to scold us, but my teacher Anthony appeared just in time. Thanks to our favorite teacher and his knowledge of emergency procedures, we knew how to protect ourselves. When O'Neill saw us running, he started shooting at us and chasing us. The sound of bullets echoed in the corridor. We managed to shake him off and hide in the pavilion, but the other classes were not safe from O'Neill. Nobody could believe what was happening. We called the emergency number, but all coverage was cut off since O'Neill had cut the communication cables. We were cut off and began to lose hope, but our teacher tried to reassure us. Then, we saw a vent in which we fit perfectly. When the time came to see who would go through the vent first, there was a lot of conflict, as no one wanted to volunteer. Our teacher had to go in first, and after him, we followed. None of us expected what was going to be inside that vent. Inside the dark vent, there were many cobwebs and rats, but we advanced in silence until we found a room with several computers and a radio. Thanks to our teacher Anthony, we managed to send a distress message to 112. We were lucky to find such an old emergency room hidden in the building. While we were trying to send the message, we could hear the gunshots and O'Neill's screams. He was very close to the room we were in. When O'Neill tried to enter, our hearts raced in panic. Luckily, help was already on the way, and when O'Neill managed to get in, our favorite teacher, Anthony, acted. When Anthony entered, he ran at O'Neill and gave him a flying kick that knocked the rifle out of his hand. O'Neill jumped to grab his rifle, and Anthony grabbed his leg to stop him from reaching it. O'Neill turned around and used a judo move to kick Anthony away. Anthony managed to get rid of O'Neill for a few moments, giving him the advantage to grab O'Neill and throw him down. We were witnessing a real fight. Everything was happening so fast. We didn't realize who was taking the most hits when suddenly we knew who had won the fight. For a moment, we looked ahead and saw how O'Neill knocked Anthony out with a kick to the face. O'Neill, after finishing off our hero, looked at us and picked up the rifle he had planned to use to kill us 10 minutes earlier. He aimed it at us carefully, but suddenly, with a bang, the door slammed open and little Peter entered. Little Peter, with his customized super wheelchair, ran over O'Neill, and we managed to run to the exit. While little Peter was fighting with him, we heard voices nearby. A while later, O'Neill came out with little Peter's chair, and that's when we knew we wouldn't see him again. In the distance, we saw some men in suits and decided to approach, when suddenly we saw Winnie the Pooh. He said he was going to a party and asked if we wanted to go with him. We said yes. The party was at Cristiano Ronaldo's house to celebrate his birthday. When we arrived, Cristiano invited us to a Coke, except for Jacinto, to whom he gave a Fanta because, for some reason, El Bicho didn't like him. After a fun night, we were about to leave, but as we reached the door, O'Neill was there and he challenged us to a basketball game. Just when we thought it was all over, the lights went out and suddenly the door burst open. there stood a giant O'Neill, 10 meters tall, with red eyes and a wicked laugh. Anthony, seeing this, called all his friends, and Juan Carlos arrived with a fighter jet and his old friends from 112, forming a super transformer with ambulances, fire trucks, and all the rescue vehicles of the moment. A military brigade also arrived, as Anthony had worked for many years as a military man, but he never wanted to tell us because he was an infiltrator in Kazakhstan. Thus began the tough battle against O'Neill. Anthony got on his super transformer, and his military friends managed to weaken the enemy, but they were not able to defeat him. Suddenly, Juan Carlos dropped a super nuclear bomb from his fighter to deal the final blow. Thus, O'Neill was defeated and imprisoned by the military. From that day on, our lives slowly returned to normal. Although, knowing O'Neill, we always looked over our shoulders, just in case. It was all so strange. Was it a dream, perhaps? To this day, I still doubt. The end.